from wherever you are watching. Thank you very much for joining the first day of our Wealth Energy Masterclass. I have a lot of great stuff to share with you today, and I'm hoping that at the end of this, when you take away all that information that you get, that you actually apply it. Okay, you actually apply it so that you can create the reality that you want to create. This is just so wild to me. This is so wild to me. I have been doing these master classes, not on this platform, but for a better part of a year. And I have been doing them with quite a few students. I have a lot of students that I've been working with behind the scenes and have helped them, create different realities than what they're living right now. So to bring it onto this platform, which I've kind of been away from for a while, but I'm back, baby. It's just, it's exciting for me. It's really, really exciting for me. So my setup is so interesting. This was supposed to be for another platform, and then my laptop is here, so everything is all convoluted, but we're just gonna work with it. We're just gonna work with it, okay? So again, welcome to day one of the Wealth Energy Masterclass. I'm very happy to have you on here. I'm so grateful that you decided to take some time out of your day, invest some time so you can learn something that could help you create a new reality for yourself, okay? I'm gonna have to, use the other platform later, so don't worry about that. But I am your host. My name is Shani Leatham. I am a transformation specialist and a manifestation mentor for the Breakthrough Academy. That is my online boutique education company that I have. And if you can, let me know where you're watching from. I am in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, or just adjacent to. And I've been here for years, and I love that. So I'm going to go through a little bit of housekeeping with you, okay, to let you know how this is going to flow, how this is going to work out. And because when you walk into somebody's house, there are rules, okay? And we are now in my home, there are rules. So the format is as such. This is a 3-day free masterclass, okay? So today is 26th, we have the 27th and the 28th. These calls will run from 12 to 1:30 p.m. Eastern time, and potentially on the Thursday, it may go to 2 p.m. depending on if we have additional information to share with you, okay? We're going to discuss wealth energy. We're going to discuss self-identity, the self-identity required to manifest the wealth that you want. We're also going to discuss and create an empowering vision for yourself for the rest of 2025 and into 2026. Okay, so today specifically is on wealth energy and the type of energy that you require to bring in what you want to bring in. Wednesday, again, identity, and Thursday, vision. Vision and a Q&A. So if you have questions, I encourage you to write them down and save them until the Thursday, so that we can get to it there, okay? I will not be discussing any of my programs, any of my courses, any of my workbooks today, because I want to be completely present with you, and I want you to be immersed in this work just as I am, okay? So I invite you to take lots of notes. There's going to be a lot of information, okay? Some of it might seem to go by quickly. Again, that's why taking the notes, that's why writing the questions down so we can ask again is going to be a very, very good thing for you, okay? There will be activities in which you are going to embody what you're learning. Now, my background is a little wild, but part of my background is as an educator, an accidental educator. So there's no way that you're gonna get away with not getting homework, okay? So at the end of day one and at the end of day two, there will be homework assigned to you. We have these great workbooks that you can download. They'll be posted in the group, and it's a good thing for you to actually answer these questions in relation to what you've learned here. It's going to help solidify the information. It's going to help you embody the information so that you can live out what you want instead of just wanting what you want. Does that make sense? Okay. So having done many of these workshops before and many of these classes before, I know that even though you may want change, even though God may have led you here, many of you are not going to do anything with this information. okay? And there's no judgment, none at all. This is just speaking from experience. Many of you will not do anything with the information here. And the reality is, if you don't pay, you won't pay attention. And because you're getting a free masterclass, oftentimes it's just going to be easy to say, okay, I'll come back to this later. I'll work on this later. I'll work on myself later. I want you to put that aside. I want you to allow yourself the opportunity to do the work, to work on yourself, to create the reality that you want to create for yourself, okay? It's more than just having wealth. It's about a full body transformation with, of course, the feeling of wealth, okay? So no judgment. It's just my experience. It's what I know to be a thing. But today we're going to do things differently, right? Okay. So I'm going to teach you with love. I'm going to teach you with firmness. And I'm also going to teach you with honesty, okay? You'll learn based on what I have actually experienced. I could teach you things that I've read in a book, but you could just go read the book. So I'm going to teach you based on what I've actually experienced, what I know to be true, what I've literally gone through, what works, okay? Because I want it to be a completely authentic experience for you, okay? So I'm not going to be sharing principles and concepts and ideas of things that weren't worked on by me. I hope that sounds good, because that's what it is, okay? If you cannot wait until the Q&A day, you can ask your questions. Please write them down, ask your questions, send me a DM, okay? If you want to chat about a potential transformation, then you can, in your DM, say, I'd like to book a call, and we will do an exploratory call where you can ask me questions about the programs. You can ask me questions about what it requires for you to actually transform from one state to another. Or just ask me questions about what we were talking about here, but it's literally only about this stuff and your transformation. We're not doing, hey girl, how you doing type of calls. Okay, because I've gotten those. So over the next 3 days, I'm going to help you. It's my aim to help you to turn your that impossible into your reality, okay? And so I like to start all of my summits, all of my workshops, all of my classes with a quick prayer, just so we could set the mood over this information here. So if you'll indulge me. Dear God, thank you for allowing me to teach your precious children. I ask you to speak through my vocal cords and think through my mind. Help me to convey the message that your sheep are perfectly made. Nothing broken, nothing missing. All of you and none of me. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, let's go. I'm supercharged. Okay, if you were on this live, I am assuming, okay, and you're investing your time, I am assuming that you would like some change. Okay, let me bring this a little bit closer. I am assuming that you would like some change. Okay, you're someone who wants some change. You're someone who wants more. And maybe you earn enough money, right? But maybe you're stuck at a certain point. So we want to get past that certain point. So you might hear some things that might cause a little bit of discomfort in you. Okay, because they may challenge everything that you already think, know, and believe about money, about how it works, about how people have it, about how people get it, about how people lose it. Okay, but I want you to just go with it. I want you to just go with it. And as we go through these days, I want you to just kind of sit in the energy of, what if this is possible for me? Okay. What if this is possible for me? Because oftentimes, again, when we're faced with something that doesn't feel like the norm, then we tend to reject it. We tend to repel it. We tend to say, we don't understand. We don't want any parts of it. I want you to push through that feeling, okay? Push through that feeling and sit with an open heart and an open mind. Can we agree to that? Yeah? Okay, cool. Let me tell you a little bit about me and how I got to this point. So for the longest time, my worth, my perceived worth, was wrapped up in the approval of others. Okay. So it was kind of like an approval addiction. And this was just something that I adopted from a young age. And I just lived this way. And my friends who are watching, people who are watching, they're going to be like, what are you talking about? But it's true. For the longest time, my worth was wrapped up in the approval of others. And so I missed a lot of opportunities because I wanted to appear a certain way to people around me, right? And like I would block myself from receiving new things. I blocked myself from opportunities. I blocked myself from income opportunities because, again, you wanted the approval of others and you wanted to appear a certain way to people whose life was probably worse than mine, whose life was probably a lot more challenging than mine, but I couldn't see that. Can any of you, relate to this? Okay. I had this fear of judgment. It was huge. A big, big fear of judgment. And so I would then feel ashamed for not going after the things that I wanted, even though I so desperately wanted it. And even more so, I desperately needed it, but I wouldn't do it. I couldn't push myself to do it. And the shame was crazy. And the wild thing about that is no one would have judged me. The judgment is me to myself. And so for you, when you're thinking about other people, what they're thinking of you, you're literally judging yourself based on what you think they're going to say. It doesn't matter. I highly recommend you don't do it. 0 out of 10. Okay. Do not recommend. All of that affected my finances because I kept trying to keep up with the Joneses who didn't even know who the hell I was. Isn't that wild? And so then that leads to poor money management, poor money management, overspending, overdrawn, overstressed, just trying to make things work, Now, prior to that, my background was in corporate marketing. I had worked my way up to a junior executive role with a pharmacy retailer. So I was in charge of all the marketing across Canada for a pharmacy retailer. And then I had my daughter, and she is amazing. And I had to change my role because when I was in that role, I was working from 8 to 8. And with a newborn, you cannot work from 8 to 8. It just didn't work out. So when I went on maternity leave, I started a marketing consultancy business with my sister. And then I also got into the field of network marketing. And if you're familiar with network marketing, it's just selling products or selling services online from another company, okay? Selling on their behalf. So I was a brand ambassador, so to speak. And as I was that brand ambassador, I was like, okay, I consistently made about between $3,000 and $5,000 a month. Okay, that was my threshold. I couldn't get past it, but that wasn't pretty bad, like for being at home. Then when it was time to get back to work, I was like, you know what? I think I need to really focus on this network marketing thing and make it grow big, and my consultancy thing and make it grow big. And my job helped me out. So I was laid off. There was mass layoffs. So I couldn't go back anyway. So, dig deep, head down, let's go. And then during the pandemic, I became an accidental educator. Teachers were not going back to school to work. They were afraid. So I volunteered my time, and eventually the school board hired me. And now I've got this, and now I've got the network marketing, and I'm doing the things, and I cannot get past that $5,000 mark, that income mark. The harder I worked, the harder I tried, it just didn't work. At the time, I did not know I had something called a money ceiling. And if you find yourself in a position where you cannot get past that certain threshold, you yourself might have a money ceiling. It's basically your paradigm patterning. You have a money patterning. There's a belief that you have about yourself that will not allow you to get more. And so I didn't know that. So that led to foreclosure. Almost lost my home 3 times. 3 times. Okay, because I wasn't making enough. I started to settle in all aspects of my life. I had low energy, low vibration, which resulted in low results. Really, really shitty results. Everything was, no, I can't go. I can't do this. I can't afford this. Okay. Of course, I pulled myself out of it once I got sick enough of being in that position, but it took me way too long to be sick and tired of being sick and tired. But once I started studying myself and I became a true expert in me and studying this material, it was almost night and day that my situation changed. Okay. So, there was a shift in my identity. Okay, I decided I didn't want to be the person who was living the way I was living before. So I really created a new reality and a new identity based off of that reality. And I've amassed a lot since then. So, and we'll talk about identity on day 2. I think I mentioned that. But long story short, I was able to manifest over $1 million in less than a year. Started with the $5,000 anonymous gift. Don't know who it came from. Then $100,000 came in. Then $600,000 came in. Then a couple $100,000 came in. And I was like, okay. And then I started working with students on the side, teaching them what I knew to be true with regards to wealth energy and manifestation and mindset and self-identity and quantum leaping and all of these universal laws that have been there. The blueprint has been out there for thousands of years. I'm teaching it. And so now I have students who have doubled their income since they've worked with me. I have a student who went from a 5K month to a 20K month. I have a student who went from an 8K month to a 42K month. I have somebody who's found love, still working on it. Somebody who's found love, you know. All of these things are really great. I am launching my new signature program because I changed who I was, okay? And so I wanted you to know exactly who's going to be teaching you. And so you understand that I am teaching you exactly from experience, okay? Now, I gave this example before, and many of you probably have joined this because of this example, but I want you to think of water, okay? In one form, it's frozen, it's heavy, it's stuck, it's like ice. In another form, it flows freely like a river, okay? And when it rises into vapor, that another form, it becomes limitless. It can go anywhere, okay? It can expand and go into the whole atmosphere. And wealth is exactly the same. It's energy, okay? And depending on the frequency you possess, it can feel frozen, okay? And hard to move, or it can flow with ease. And that's what we want. We want it to flow with ease and become infinite. Always, always, always coming in. And the truth is, money is not about luck. Okay, it's not about how hard you work, because if it was about how hard you worked, then we'd all probably be on a yacht right now sipping margaritas, because I know every one of you works hard. It's not even about the amount of time you put in, the amount of effort. It's about alignment, being in alignment. So you're not going to chase wealth, and you can't force it into your life. You have to become a frequency match so that it can so that it can respond to you. That's what I want to say. And so today we're going to dive a little bit into how wealth energetics actually works, why some people keep repeating cycles of lack, why others always seem to keep bringing it in no matter what they do, right? Like they're like magnets and they just attract wealth to them, and how you can shift into the frequency of consistent abundance, okay? This is not a theory. It's literally practical, rehearsed, scientific, energetic law. Practical, rehearsed, scientific, energetic law. And so by the end of our time together, you're going to be able to understand what frequency you need to be able to match the wealth that you desire. It could be 5-figure months, could be 6-figure months, could be beyond. You're going to know how to match that frequency, okay? So let's take a breath. Okay, let's go. This is based off of your thoughts about money. All of this is based off of your thoughts about money and how we choose to deal with it or not choose to deal with it. We have this thing called a frequency. And your frequency is the broadcast signal that you emit to the world, okay? It's a combination of your thoughts, of your beliefs. It's a combination of your emotions and your nervous system. And all encompassing, that's called your inner state, okay? Now, if even one of these things is out of alignment, if one of these things is out of whack, you're then going to emit a frequency that doesn't match what it is that you want to call in. You're going to bring in something else that you didn't want altogether. Now, I want you to go ahead and look at your life right now. You are a master manifester. Everything that you have in your life, you've called it in one form or another. So, and you probably didn't even realize that. Okay, so we've got to make sure that our internal state matches the frequency of what we want to call in. And so when everything is in alignment, and that's the sweet spot there, right? and it's when it's in alignment with wealth, then you're going to start attracting the wealth to you. So I want you to imagine, you know, a tuning fork, like it looks like this, a silver tuning fork, and you strike it and it goes bing, sound effects, okay? It does all of that, okay? It vibrates at a frequency. Now, any nearby fork with the same pitch will start to vibrate as well, okay? It'll start to vibrate even if you never touched it. So any fork that has the same pitch, it will begin to vibrate in harmony with that tuning fork, okay? And that's exactly how wealth works. When you vibrate at abundance, abundance you shall have. Wealth is going to harmonize you. So let's talk about abundance really quickly here, okay? Most people think abundance is about money and money alone. It's so much more than that. Abundance is the state of knowing that there's more than enough, that there's always enough, that there's always some coming in. That is literally the state of abundance. It's not just about the money. However, when you understand and get into a wealth or an abundance consciousness, then you can start to bring that wealth to you, okay? So I want you to think about when you're outside and you go for a walk. You look outside, depending on wherever you are in the world, and there are trees. And you see all the leaves on the trees. There's an abundance of leaves. And then you look on the ground and you see the green. It's all green, right? It's grass. There's an abundance of blades of grass. There's so much grass you cannot count how much grass there is. There's just a multitude. It's way too much. Or when you come home, I don't know if you drink tap water, but I do. I turn on the tap and the water starts to run. The water never runs out because there's an abundance of water. There's an abundance. You go take a shower, even if the water turns from hot to cold, it will not run out because there's an abundance of water. And the more you realize all the abundance around you, you get into that real abundance consciousness, then you're going to draw more abundance to you. So I would love for you to realize and start to think to yourself, what do you have in abundance right now? It could be an abundance of friendship, abundance of love. There's lots of oxygen that you can breathe. You're alive and kicking. There's cars outside everywhere. You can't stop them from coming. There's abundance everywhere, even the ants, the mosquitoes, all of it. Maybe you have a lot of hair. Maybe you don't have any hair. That's okay. An abundance of bald, right? But you have to get into a state of abundance consciousness so that you can start to call more abundance into yourself. And so when you change your thoughts into thoughts of abundance, which then changes your beliefs from not enough to there's always more coming, that's then going to change your emotions, how you feel about the situation, how you feel about things. And when you start to go from feeling tight and feeling like there's not enough to feeling like, okay, I can deal with this, more is coming, right? You start to feel hopeful and optimistic. You start to feel grateful and content. And especially with gratitude, focus on the gratitude, focus on the things that you are so grateful for. You're going to get more of the things you're grateful for. And that's also going to tune to the universe and tune to God that you are open to receiving. You are open to receiving. Okay? And then those things will then change in part how your nervous system responds. Now, a big part of wealth energy and a big part of manifesting anything is having a regulated nervous system. Most people are walking around with a dysregulated nervous system and they don't even realize that. So you could currently be earning $5,000 a month, for example, and you want to manifest $20,000 a month or $25,000 a month. You want that to be your thing. If you don't have the internal capacity to hold that $20,000 or $25,000 a month, you're never going to get it, okay? If your body does not feel safe with the idea of having more, because one, you might be thinking you'll mismanage it, you'll lose it, what happens if you get it, who will you turn into when you get it, you don't feel safe with the money, you will not get it, or if you do get it, you will lose it immediately, and you will bring yourself right back to that $5,000 state. And then you will always be at a frequency match to $5,000. So we need to get you from a dysregulated nervous system into a regulated nervous system, a regulated nervous state. So let's talk about what that looks like when you're in dysregulation. Tell me if you have ever experienced any of this. And I can tell you that I have, because I did just before we went on this live, which is very, very weird for me. So someone who's in dysregulation, they'll start to take short, shallow breaths, okay? Your breathing is short. Your jaw is clenched. Your shoulders are tight. Your stomach is tight. You feel anxious all the time. You might even feel like you're in a state of depression. You have trouble sleeping. You wake up and your thoughts are so loud. The thoughts of what could possibly go wrong, or the things that are pressing in your life, they're so loud in your mind that you cannot focus. You cannot work well. Even when you pick up a pen and you try to write, your writing is messy now, as opposed to when you're in a peaceful state and your writing is beautiful, right? You can smell and taste the acidity in your body because you are in a dysregulated state. Have you ever experienced any of that? That's what that looks like. If you've ever experienced any of that, if you sit like this tight all the time, right? Is your jaw clenched? Go ahead and unclench your jaw. Go ahead and take a deep cleansing breath. That is the easiest way, well, the first easy way to start to regulate your nervous system. Deep cleansing breath. So you're gonna go in for 2, hold, and out for 2. And you just keep doing that, because you're literally cleaning out the stuff that's messing you up, for lack of a better term, okay? You're cleaning it out. You've got to do that, okay? So how do we get rid of that negative nervous state? So deep cleansing breaths, unclench your jaw. I want you to immediately replace the thought that's got you nervous, that's got you anxious, or got you depressed, with the polar opposite. Okay, so there's this thing called the law of opposites. If you can think a negative thought, there's an absolute positive thought, opposite thought to it. So if in one reality you are poor, there's another reality you are rich. In one reality you're overweight, there's another reality where you're fit. In one reality where you're lonely, there's another reality where you're loved. Okay? Immediately replace the negative thought that's in your mind for the polar opposite. Now you're going to say, well, how can I do that? Well, literally just imagine it. Literally just imagine it. That is what our imagination is for. It works. It works for everybody, so you can do that. What else can you do? Walk. Get out in nature. Remember how they used to call people tree huggers like it was an insult? No, they were onto something. Because nature, the vibration of nature, it's actually healing. So there's a frequency in nature that is healing to your soul, healing to your body, healing to your nervous system. Get grounded, put your feet on the grass. Do all of that. That's going to help regulate your nervous system. Spend time near water. Have you ever wondered why hearing water trickle is so peaceful? It's because it's reconnecting. It's regulating your nervous system. I have a body of water fountain, a water fountain figure right outside my place. I see it from my window. I'm so blessed to have that, because if I feel like I'm a little tight, I just go out and look at it, open the window, and I can hear the water. I have this beautiful pond right by my home. I go and I walk to the pond and I just stand there and I'm re-energized. Re-energized. That is a beautiful way to regulate your nervous system. Envision yourself with the 25K months, if going back to that example. Envision yourself, see what your life would look like. And then not just look at it, feel what it would feel like. And again, well, how can I do that if I've never gotten 25K months? Use your imagination. We are literally co-creators with God, okay? Our imagination, our fourth dimension, that's what it's called, is where all ideas, all dreams, all changes take place. All manifestations take place, right? So that's where it begins. So start to envision that and really think about, what would it feel like to have that? What type of peace would you have in your life? What type of freedom would you have in your life? Because most people, it's not that they want the money, it's they want the freedom. It's not that they want the relationship, it's that they want the connection. So attach the feeling to it and live from that place, not watching it, from that place, okay? And we're going to be doing work on this on day 3, on visioning, and we'll be doing a guided meditation and all of that stuff. So if you're having trouble with that right now, that's okay. If you believe in God, as I do, the easiest for me and fastest way to regulate my nervous system is just to remember the smallest, the shortest little verse in the Bible. It's Romans 8:31, and it's this: if God is for us, who can be against us? Because duh, if I have God on my side, nothing else can do me wrong. If I have God on my side, then what? Then what? He's like fighting for me, right? That gives me so much peace. So much peace. And then what you can do is you can tailor it to yourself. So if God be for me, who can be against me, right? Who can stop me? Nobody. Okay? Nobody. So you're going to personalize that to your problem. Another way to completely change your state really quickly, if you're in a negative energetic state or a dysregulated nervous system state, start jumping around like an idiot. I promise you, it will change how you feel immediately. Immediately. So that's what I did before I got on this live. I just started jumping, and then I did some deep breaths and I was good. Okay? So if God is for me, then who can be against me? Because really nobody can compete with him. Change your state. So I've given you some things that you can do so that you can you can change your nervous state, your nervous system. Okay? What else? Train yourself to expect the best. Okay? Train yourself to expect the best. This is literally you working on your mind. Okay? We are so quick to expect the worst. We are so quick to expect bad things to happen. We use our imagination, the one thing that we have that separates us from all other beings on this earth, okay? Humans versus animals and stuff. We have this imagination which we can create such beautiful things. Everything in this world was created twice. First in your mind and then in the physical. The chair that you are sitting on was created in someone's mind and then the physical. The device that you are watching this live on was first created in someone's mind and then in reality. And we use our imagination station, okay, to come up with things that make us feel bad, to come up with things that make us feel awful about ourselves, to come up with things that make us feel like the people around us are not good to us, they're coming to get us. No. You're going to now use your imagination to train yourself to expect the best and only the best. I got this out of the book, The Power of Positive Thinking. Okay, I'm reading the same chapter over and over and over again, it's chapter 7. And it's called Expect the Best. And one thing that they say is, a mantra that they use is, I expect the best, and with God's help, I will attain the best. I've adopted that. That's my reality. I expect the best. I do not ever expect things to not go the way I want them to. And even if they don't go the way I want them to, I don't expect it to defeat me. I do not entertain defeat. I expect the best. And so you can train yourself to expect the best. So you can start with little things. You start with things like, my dinner that I'm making tonight, ooh, it's going to be the best food I ever had in my life. I expect the best. When you order that thing from Amazon, ooh, it's going to come just right on time because I'm deserving of fast, quick service. I expect the best. When you go to sleep tonight, I'm going to have the best sleep of my life. Ooh, it's going to be like dreamless. I'm going to wake up feeling so rested. And what are you going to do before that? You're going to start thinking about yourself with those 25K months. and you're going to sleep so peacefully. And when you wake up in the morning, you've expected the best you will get. So you've got to train yourself to expect the best. Okay? I expect the best, and with God's help, I will attain it. So you're going to find the thing, say the thing, do the thing, feel the thing that feels good to you. Okay? To no matter what, keep that energy up. Okay? And always expect goodness. I expect goodness out of everyone, even though I can see that not everyone has goodness in them. I see the best in people. It's one of my superpowers. Okay? I see in them what they cannot yet see in themselves. But that is a choice. I choose to live that way. I choose to see the best. I choose to only expect the best. If I start to expect failure I will get. And it's the same thing for you. If you start to think that you cannot make any more money, you will not make any more money. If you start to think that making money is really, really hard, it's going to be difficult for you. If you start to think that only people around me get more, people like me don't get. I don't know what's going on. What's wrong with me? What's my problem? You are going to be always given the opportunity for that to be your reality. And we want to change your reality completely. We want to change your energetic state completely. So you've got to make sure your nervous system is intact. You've got to make sure that it's regulated, because no matter what, all of this training, all of this talking, all of these lessons, all of the work that I'm giving to you today, if your nervous system is out of whack, none of that will matter. None of that will matter. So you are responsible to yourself to get yourself out of this position that you are in. I'm giving you the tools in which to do it. I hope you were listening. Again, I am sharing things that I know work. I'm doing this from experience. I studied and studied and studied and studied. I brought friends in to study with me. We studied. We studied. Now I have students who study and they are seeing their lives change before their eyes. People are looking at them and thinking it's a miracle. Thinking it's a miracle because one day they were like this and the next day they're like this. How do you go from here to up here without changing who you are inside? And that's the only way you can do it. If you want your outer world to change, your inner state must change first. Okay? So at the end of the day, I want you to remember that your thoughts affect your frequency. What are you thinking? What are you thinking right now? And even further, who is thinking in your mind? Who is thinking in your head? Whose thoughts are you carrying around in your mind? Because I used to do that. Excuse me. I used to think I was thinking their thoughts. I used to think I was thinking their thoughts, but I was judging based on what I thought they were thinking of me. Does that make sense? Okay. So now your responsibility is to mind what you feed your mind. Pay attention to what you're feeding yourself. What are you paying attention to? Are you looking at all this shit politics that's going on right now? Are you looking at shows that make you feel bad about yourself? Are you listening to people who, even with their best of intentions, say things that hurt you, harm you, make you feel small? Are you the person who's speaking badly to yourself? You've got to change the way you're thinking. You've got to change the information that you're allowing in your mind. You can only think right thoughts, not the wrong thoughts. You have to be so thoughtful, so mindful, so diligent of what you allow to permeate your mind, because your thoughts then eventually turn into emotions which affect your subconscious mind. And I do subconscious mind down here and not up here because the mind is not the brain. Okay? Your subconscious mind is your inner state. And it goes back to what we emit, our frequencies. The universe does not care what you want. It cares what signal you're broadcasting. And you're only going to broadcast what you believe to be true. What you believe to be true. So for those who want to manifest the lottery, I'm going to win 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 the lottery. I trust that I'm going to win the lottery. The lottery is mine, it's mine, it's mine. This is what I'm going to do with the lottery, this is what I'm going to do with the lottery. But inside, deep down inside in your subconscious mind, you're like, I'm not getting that. I'll never get that. What if people come around me and just want my money? It's just going to like cause me drama. Guess what you're emitting? Guess what broadcast signal you're emitting? What frequency you're emitting? You're going to get more of what you are emitting, more of what you are broadcasting, more of that tuning fork, what's tuning to the world. That's what you're going to get more of. So now if your subconscious mind is convoluted, if it's filled with limiting beliefs, if it's filled with, again, the ideas and the thoughts of other people or things that have come from your past, it is your responsibility to now start asking yourself questions. Where did these ideas come from? Why do I believe them? Do they still help me? Are they still worth believing? Should I replace these thoughts and beliefs with something else? That's how you're going to discover yourself. That's how you're going to change your energetic state. Because then once you start to remove those beliefs and thoughts, and we're going to speak more about this tomorrow, okay, when we talk about identity. But when you start to remove those things and you start to replace them with ideas and thoughts and feelings that feel good to you, that feel like home to you, that feel safe in your body, then you're going to be given the opportunity to receive more of that. Then you're going to start climbing the energetic frequency and starting to match with the wealth frequency that you desire. So now when we go back to wealth frequency, how much do you want? How much do you want? You got to be specific. You know, you've got to be specific. You can't just say, I want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. I want more money. Because in the universe, God is going to say, okay, here you go. Here's $5. Here's more money. You've got to be specific about what you want. And I always like to add the caveat when you're at your specifics, always end at the end or something better. So I'd love to have 30K months or something better, right? So that way you're always open to receiving, because if you don't receive that 30K month, let's say you get 20, are you going to be so upset that you just got 20 when you're normally getting 5? No. But if you start to get upset that you haven't reached that goal that you wanted just yet, you know what? You're just changing your whole energetic state and going from right here and sabotaging yourself right back down to that 5K month, that 5K energetics. So be specific or something better. Don't worry about how it's happening, because the how does not matter. We never know. We never know. We will not ever know. I did not know when I was manifesting wealth, when I was manifesting for $1 million, that it was going to start with $5,000. I was like, I want $1 million. What the hell is this? Right? But I was so grateful. I was so grateful for that $5,000 anonymous donation into me. Till this day, I have no idea where it came from. No idea. Thank you to whomever it was from. And thank you, God. Right? But I was grateful for it. And I was open to receiving more. I was open to receiving more. Okay? So your thoughts affect your frequency. And then your frequency turns into attraction. Okay? And so you know how they say like attracts like, or game recognize game? Like when you see something in somebody else and you're like, ooh, I like that in them. It's because they have a quality in them that you actually have in yourself. You just probably don't realize it. So like attracts like, okay? And then your embodiment turns into magnetism. That's what we want. So you're living it out. You're living from that place of the person who has those 25K months, 50K months, 100K months, or beyond. When you're living from that place, not watching yourself have it, but living from the place like a method actor. Okay? Like a method actor. Living from that place, then you become magnetic to it. Because there's no choice other than for you to get what you're magnetizing, what you're energetically matching. There's no choice. So, and that happens through opportunities and through resources and through connections from people in places that you never thought you'd ever get them. Walking through doors you never thought you'd walk through. Names spoken in rooms you didn't even think anyone knew you in. That's what happens. It will begin to happen. It might trickle in, or it might be like a quantum leap. But either way, you're going to be grateful. Either way, you're going to recognize the abundance around you. Either way, you're going to keep your energy up, and you're always going to see yourself as the person who has the amount of wealth that you desire. It is a must. It is a must. You might get it through windfall. You might get it through jobs. You might get it through an inheritance. We don't know how it's coming, but we know that it is coming. Okay? So let's talk about what poverty and lack looks like as an energetic state. Okay? So with your body language, somebody who is in poverty, you can immediately tell. You can immediately tell even if they try to show otherwise. But the signs are always there. So somebody who is living in poverty or lack, they have that dysregulated state. They're closed off. They're like this all the time. Their body is tight. Oftentimes their fists are clenched. Again, their jaw's clenched. They look angry. Their nostrils are flared. Their hair is dry and brittle because it affects all parts of your body, right? They're tense. They've got tense shoulders. They're very uninviting. They're very uninviting. Now, that's not like RBF, you know, when they say you got resting bitch face. That's just some people's faces. But they're very uninviting. And you know when you walk into a room and, or somebody walks into a room and you feel their energy. You feel their energy even before you see them. That is that low vibrational state. That is that poverty and lack. That is just negativity all the way around. You can feel it. It's like a green fog enters the room, right? That's part of what you get. And it also shows up in their body language. It shows up in their, like you see pets. They're like this, right? They're bashful. They're afraid. It always shows, okay? With their emotions, what kind of emotions do they have? So they have fear. With regards to money, fear of mismanaging it, fear of not having enough, fear of losing it, fear of what if somebody finds out and they try to rob me? Scarcity mindset. That's their emotions. They guilt spend. They spend and they guilt spending. So, I wish I could get this. You know, I'm just going to buy this. It'll make me feel better. You know, make poor spending habits, poor shopping habits, all of that. Constantly worrying about bills. You know, the thing you focus on grows, right? So if you constantly focus on the bills that you cannot pay, you will not be able to pay those bills. And even if you are currently in a state where you might have $1.34 in your account, okay? To constantly worry is putting yourself through the thing twice. Before the experience happens of whatever could happen, and now. So we want to remove ourselves from that, okay? The feeling of unworthiness. Oh, that was big. That was me for a very long time. I didn't feel worthy. The wild thing is, you were born worthy. You're born worthy. Somewhere along the line, some conditioning that we came across, that we adopted, we just said, you know what, we're not worth it. We're not worth it. This is what we can get, so we settle our way through life, right? And a settlement to me is like when you think of court, is you accept the thing, you take something because you don't think you can get anything better. Settlement, because you don't think that you're worth more. Okay, so that is an emotion of lack and poverty. Then what kind of habits do they exude? So somebody who's in lack and poverty, they hoard their money. They hoard their money. I remember the first $100,000 that I got. I just looked at my bank account all the time. I even took a screenshot. It's on my phone, you know. Just took the screenshot and I looked and I looked and I looked and I looked. I didn't want to spend it, but then I was like, wait a minute, money needs to be circulated. Money needs to be circulated in order for it to come back to me. So I quickly kiboshed that. So hoarding money, right? They don't spend it. They don't spend it at all. They're so tight with it. Somebody asks you for something, you don't want to give it to them. You have zero generosity in your bones, okay? Because there's a scarcity mindset. If you have a business or products or something that you sell, they undercharge. That's a habit. Undercharging, not investing in themselves. They'll invest in other things, but they won't invest in themselves. They won't invest maybe in the stock market, maybe because they don't understand. But if it was because you don't understand, that's one thing. But choosing not to because you're afraid. Poverty and lack, right? Always saying, I can't afford it. Instead of asking, how can I afford it? Which opens up different thought patterns in your minds and different opportunities and reasoning so that you can get the thing that you want. Okay? Very comfortable in their discomfort. So you're stressed. You don't have enough. You wish for more. You're anxious. You're depressed, but you don't do anything to change any of that. Aside from if you have a medical condition and you actually cannot change it. Or if you have a medical condition and you choose not to take the medicine, it's the same thing, right? It's lack, poverty, scarcity. It just presents itself in a different way. And so we just want to be mindful of that, okay? If these are things that you've ever experienced, I want you to just be mindful of that because we're going to change that. We're going to change that. Not open to change. People who have lack and poverty mindset, they are not open to change. They are not open to anything. It's always like, you know, change is the devil. I don't like it. I'll just accept what it is. This is the devil I know. I used to hear that all the time. This is the devil I know. I'll just stick with what I know. It's like when you go to a restaurant and you always order the same thing. That's the easiest way to start changing. Easiest way to start allowing for more. Try something different. Even if it's you order the same thing and you change the drink. One small change can create a whole avalanche of goodness for you. Okay? And always expecting failure. So if you're always expecting failure, failure is what you're going to get. If you always expect somebody to treat you poorly, then they're always going to treat you poorly because you're admitting that. Okay? You're literally saying, treat me bad, treat me bad, treat me bad. Treat me bad. What beliefs do they have? So they believe that money always runs out, that this is not for me, that it's hard to make. I said that rich people are greedy. They're always watching rich people's pockets. I saw when those guys went to space for 10 minutes, everyone was upset because why aren't they spending their money on other things? Get out of their pockets. Get out of their pockets. Okay? You earn the money so that you can help the people. That's what I do. We believe in do well so you can do good. You earn the money so that you can help the people. Get out of their pockets. Okay? Or that there's never enough. Okay? And so then it's no wonder that people are stuck at the low frequency. It's no wonder that they've hit their money ceiling. And again, that money ceiling is that paradigm, your money patterning, that doesn't allow you to get more than you have. It's no wonder if these are your beliefs, emotions, your habits, and your thoughts. Right? Now, alternately, let's talk about what wealth energy looks like. Because somebody who has wealth energy, their body language, they have, even if they're curved, they still stand tall. You know, they work on their posture. They stand with confidence. They are calm and grounded and expansive. And then they're with their emotions. They experience gratitude, right? Gratitude is big. They have confidence, joy in spending. Imagine that. Joy in spending, not being frivolous, not being irresponsible, but joy in spending. It's like when you have your bills and you say, you know what? I'm so grateful that I can pay this light bill so now we can eat and see and connect in our home. I'm so grateful for this insurance. I don't think anyone's grateful for insurance. But I'm so grateful for this insurance that should something happen, I'm covered. Right? You have to, when you're spending your money, even when it's buying some gum. I'm so grateful for this gum. I'm going to have some really great fresh breath. You know, and our conversations are going to be great. Or you're buying your groceries. I'm so grateful now I can nourish my family and myself. Be grateful and find joy in your spending, okay? And if you've ever been a person who feels guilty about buying something for yourself, knock it out the window. You deserve it. So find the joy in the spending, right? Find the joy in all of that, in circulating money. What else? So that's their emotions, their habits. They invest. They don't just invest in others. They invest in themselves. They invest in their mind. And it's crazy to me because a lot of people, they'll pay for school. They'll pay for car insurance. They'll pay for health insurance. They'll pay for home insurance. But they won't pay to change their mind, which is their greatest asset. It's because we've never been taught to do that. But wealthy people have been taught to do that. They think differently, don't they? They think differently, don't they? And even if they're jackasses, they live in such a level of delusion that they can have whatever they want, right? They can get whatever they want. That defeat is not an option. And so that they just go out and find ways to make that happen. That's what you've got to do. Go out and find ways to make that happen. But you be a good person about it, okay? So they invest, they give. So it could be giving of your time, giving of your advice, giving of $1, giving of emotions, whatever it is, but you're generous. When you're generous with what you have, you are making room to get more, okay? And you don't give to get, right? You don't give to get. You get because you give. It's the opposite. You get because you give. You don't go out to give so that you can get. You get because you give, okay? They make expansive decisions. They can make decisions like this. They don't hem and haw. They don't like question all this, that, and the other. Do you know to make a decision is really easy? It's the fastest thing that you can do. The hardest part about making the decision, the hardest part about, or the longest time that it takes to make the decision, or not make the decision, is the questioning, is when the fear sets in, is when the doubt sets in. Even though you want something so badly, you want to enroll in one of my programs so badly, but the fear sets in. What if it doesn't work? What if I don't get my money back? What kind of risk am I taking? How much time do I have to devote to this? But the decision was made that you wanted it. So wealthy people make expansive decisions, and they make them without emotion. They make them quickly. Okay? And then what kind of beliefs do they have? They believe in abundance. They believe that there's always more. There's always more than enough. There's always more coming back. If they get something and they lose something, they know how to get it back. Okay? If they get something and they lose something, they know how to get it back. They believe I am capable. I am worthy. I am confident. I am deserving. I am worthy of overflow. Because it's good to have abundance, but overflow is even better. It is. Because then you can do even more and experience even more and give even more and go and do and all of these things and be even more. Okay? They believe that money loves them. Money loves me. It sure does. Once upon a time when I was a child, we were going to summer school. We did summer school just for something to do one year. There was not a day in those 25 days, and maybe one I missed, that I did not find $20 on the ground. And I always this was because of little big bag Shani. I just wanted chicken nuggets from McDonald's. And I would find $20 or $10 every day. I don't know if someone was dropping it for me, but I was walking with my sister and some friends, and every day I would just walk with my head down and find the money. Find the money. I believed that it was there. I wanted my chicken nuggets. And I would buy chicken nuggets for all of us. Okay? I put that energetic frequency out there. I was an energetic match for my damn chicken nuggets. But really it was the wealth. And what the wealth would allow me to do. Right? So you've got to think about that. So now, how do you go from a lack frequency to a wealth frequency? Because we've determined what wealth frequency looks like. We've determined what lack frequency looks like. But how do you go from one state to the next? Well, the first thing is you need to get into a state of awareness. Okay? You have to notice when you're in ice energy. Now, at the beginning, we talked about the states of water, ice, flowing, and vapor. Ice being heavy, stuck. Ice being non-expansive, blocked, okay? Notice when you're in a state of ice, when you're in ice energy, when you're feeling tight, when you're feeling fearful, when you're feeling closed off, okay? Pay attention to it. Sometimes you won't notice it, but then sometimes you're like, ooh, this doesn't feel good to me. I need to change this immediately, okay? The second thing you're gonna do is you're going to shift. You're literally gonna shift, so you're gonna consciously melt that ice. Okay? You're going to consciously melt that ice. So you're going to focus on the things in your life that you are grateful for. I'm telling you, gratitude is one of the fastest ways to just feel different and feel better. So you're going to focus on the things in your life that you are grateful for. And then you're going to get into and stay in a consciousness of abundance. Okay? Get into and stay in a consciousness of abundance. And you're going to do your breath work. That deep in for 2, hold and out for 2. You're going to consistently do your breath work because you're cleansing out the shit that does not need to be there. You're going to practice visualization. Now, some people have trouble with visualizing. They can't see past where they are right now. They want certain things in their life, but they can't see themselves with it. You just have to try. Some people can't actually visualize, so you can feel what it would feel like. Okay? Continue thinking about what it would feel like. And when you're visualizing, if you are able to visualize, I want you to look at it from your eyes. Not you watching it, but if I'm laying on the beach and I'm at my beach house, I'm seeing myself, I'm seeing the water. I'm not seeing myself lying there. I'm looking at the water. I'm physically putting myself in there. Okay? So practice visualizations. Do some affirmations with feelings. Now, I like affirmations and I don't, but you have to make sure that you add feeling behind it, because otherwise you're just saying words and your subconscious is going to realize that you're talking shit and it's going to completely reject it. It's going to completely reject it and it's going to bring your energetic state right back down to poverty. Okay? And then physically move your body. And I told you this already. The fastest way to change your state is to jump around like an idiot. Jump around, move around like an idiot, dance, have sex, do whatever, backflips, cha-cha slide, whatever it is, move your body. Move your body. It's the fastest way to change your energetic state. You can do it. Tony Robbins calls this priming. You get up in the morning and it's like raise the roof, but you're doing it and you're breathing like... It's weird, right? I'm telling you, it works. Go ahead and try it. Try it right now. I can't see you. You witnessed that. I cannot see you. Go ahead and try it. It feels great. It feels dumb, but it feels great. The third thing you're going to do is get into circulation. Okay? So you're going to circulate. So circulate money, circulate yourself. Start small. Okay? Start small. A person who has a wealth energy or who is wealth conscious or who has a wealth identity, they do not think from the place of I don't have enough. They think from the place of I already have it all. And so you can literally trick your subconscious, trick your mind into believing you are wealthy by deviating from your normal. So instead of, for instance, going to buy your coffee, Maybe a small coffee, maybe you buy a medium, right? Circulating a little more. Maybe you buy a large, maybe you buy a latte. If you're gonna go buy ice cream instead of 1 scoop, maybe you get 2, right? You're acting out in wealth because wealth is overflowing, it's abundant, it will always come back to you. You have to get in the state of being, okay? So money must move in order to flow. Money must move in order to flow. Period. Period. You can leave it in your bank account, and then what? It's not being enjoyed. It's not being used by you. It's being used by the bank. Right? Now what? So spend or give from a place of abundance. Again, you could have $10 in your account, but you can give of your time. You can give advice. You can give a lending ear. You can volunteer. You can see somebody who's on the street and give them $1. And yes, that will leave you with 9. But you won't be left with 9 for too long. You have to do and circulate from a place of abundance, okay? And just live from the place of wealth, which brings me to number 4, expand. Okay, so expand is the state of vapor. So we were talking about vapor with the water, right? Where it goes everywhere, it's limitless. You're going to embody that vaporous state every day. Every day. I hope you are writing this down. Hopefully this records and you can come back and watch it. But otherwise, I hope you're writing this down because this is good. Okay, so expand. You're going to show up in your daily life as the person who has the wealth that you desire. So that's part of the circulation, but really, really embodying it. Embodying it means to internalize it. It means to live from that place. It means to become. It is that method acting that I was talking about. Do you remember the movie The Dark Knight? And Heath Ledger, he played the Joker. He literally embodied that character. He was such a method actor that the Joker got so deeply ingrained in his mind that he took his life. A little too far. But he became the character. Denzel became the police officer in Training Day. He became him. You become the person who has the wealth that you desire. You have to know exactly how much you want per month. Okay? That's part of it. So again, you got to know what would that person think. So you're the person who has what you desire. How do they think? Okay, and you're going to live from that place. How do they think? How do they dress? Okay? What kind of decisions do you make from that place? Are you worried about money? Probably not. Are you worried about buying a slice of pizza? Probably not. Are you worried about investing in yourself to make yourself better so that you can live a much better, greater, more wealth-filled, abundance-filled, love-filled life? Probably not. Your current self right now might be worried about those things and hesitant and resistant. You have to show up as the person who has the wealth that you already desire. It's very important. It's tantamount to your success. Okay? And you can do this for moments at a time. Now, this is what we call, I've mentioned this before, living in your 4D, living in your imagination. When we were kids, they used to say you're on cloud 9. Get your head up out the clouds. Stop daydreaming. No, continue to daydream. We went to school and we used our imagination all the time until our teachers told us to stop and our families told us to stop and the adults told us to stop. And then we didn't dream. And then we just started to look around and see what's going on in life and accept that for us. When we could have just dreamed a little more and created the life that we actually wanted instead of the life that we have settled for. Because I say settled because if you had all the resources in the world, all the money you could have in the world, I can guarantee you, you would not be doing the job that you're doing right now. You do it because you have bills to pay. You do it because you have a family. You do it because you have responsibilities. You might do it because you don't know what else you're good at. So, right? So you're going to do it for moments at a time. You're going to use your imagination. You're going to see yourself there. I want you to then, this is part of day 3, but before you go to bed, envision that. Live from that. See yourself as that every night before you go to bed. That's going to impress upon your subconscious. Your subconscious has no idea what's true from what's not. It cannot reject any idea you give it. It will accept everything you feed to it. So feed it what you want, what you desire, without the doubt, without the, oh, it might not work, without the limitations. You want the partner? Add the partner in there. You want the house? Add the house in there. You want the car? Add the car in there. You want the vacations? Add the vacations in there. You want all the wealth? Add the wealth in there. Know how you're going to spend the money. Know how you're going to spend the money. That is a very, very big one, okay? Feel the overflow and then act boldly. Got it? And then number 5, you're going to normalize it. So you're going to train your mind and train your nervous system to feel safe at that level of wealth. That's the best part. Feeling safe at the level of wealth, with the higher levels of wealth. Because when you feel safe with the money, when you feel safe with the wealth, you call it in. The universe has no choice but to then give you opportunities to show and prove who you say you are. I am safe with wealth. I am open to receiving this level of amount of money. Right? So you've got to train your nervous system to feel safe with higher amounts of wealth. Okay? And then you're going to keep resetting your internal thermostat. So we have this thermostat. Okay? That's where you were at 5,000, you want to get to 25. We keep resetting it from 5,000 to 10,000 to 15 to 20 to 25 to 25 to 25 to 25 to 25. And we're stuck at 25 because we want to be there. Unless we decide that we want to elevate, then it's 30, 35, 40. You keep resetting. Okay? Keep resetting it. Oh, how does it feel to have 50K months? Oh, well, you know, I'm going on a trip and I'm flying first class. Or I flew first class. Picture that. What was that like on the plane? What did it look like? What did it feel like? Your friends were back in economy? No, they weren't, because you paid for them to come on this trip with you and you're doing first class together. You're envisioning that. You're starting to feel that. That feels normal. So then when it does come, you won't ever sabotage it. You won't mismanage it, because this is just another day. It's another day. It's something that you've already experienced. Do you know when you go to manifest and you come up with the idea of the thing that you want, immediately there is an alternate reality in which it has happened. But there's also a reality in which everything that could go wrong in your life has happened too. Most people just veer towards that reality, don't even realize it. You can go this way. You can go this way. So you're going to train your nervous system to feel safe at higher levels of wealth. Okay? So I think we are going to end here. This was a good first hour and almost a half. There's a lot to take in. Okay? There's a lot of information. There's a lot to think about. And this might be something that you've never paid attention to before. And it might be something that you reject immediately. You might say, oh, she's talking woo-woo. That's fine. That's fine. But then you also have to understand and ask yourself, why did you come on this live? Because there was something that you didn't know, that you wanted to know. There's something that you want to experience. And this can help you experience that. Okay? This can help you experience that. So I did mention before that there is homework. Okay? Miss L, that's what they call me. There's no way I'm going to come on here and teach you stuff and not give you homework so you can embody it and so you can internalize it, okay? It has been posted to our Facebook group. there is under the section files, a workbook with questions. You must do these questions. It's called Day 1 Wealth Energy. Okay, Day 1 Wealth Energy. There's some really, really, really great questions. It's just to get you to examine your current state, your current wealth beliefs, your current relationship with money, and to help you get to the next level. Where do you want to go? Okay, it's going to help you with that. So it's going to definitely help you determine your current wealth energy and help you make the changes that you need so that you can elevate it to where you want to be. Now, I want you to be ready with your answers because tomorrow we're going to be discussing some of them. And I'm going to expect to see me or not me in the comments. Okay? Me or not me. This is going to be immersive. I want you to not just learn, I want you to live it out. I want this to be something that is practicum for you. When you practice it, then you can live it, then you can become it, then you can have it. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? If you like this live, go ahead and send me a like. That would be nice too. You know? So tomorrow, same time, 12 p.m. to 1:30. I was trying to get this on another platform at the same time, but it just wouldn't allow me to. So sorry to them. I'm sorry to that man. So 12 to 1:30, same platform. There should be a replay available in this group shortly after. And so you can go ahead and revisit this and keep revisiting it. There's a lot that we went through today. It might be too much. It might be too much for you all at once, and that's fine. But keep going through it, okay? And if you want access to, I'm hoping it showed, but if it doesn't, if you want access or have questions or you can't download the files, send me a DM and I will get it straight to you right away. Okay? So in the interim, I was going to play a song to end this. I like to do that. I like to play a song and like just get our energy up. But Facebook is Facebooking today. It won't allow me to do that. So, does anybody have something that they'd like to say? If not, we're gonna go. I'm gonna let you go 3, 6, 7 minutes early because I spoke a little bit faster than I anticipated. But otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you very much for hanging with me for day 1. Day 2, we're going to be talking about self-identity, the identity that you have now versus the identity you need to manifest the wealth that you desire. But not just that, but to live the life that you want to live. So you can live that lifestyle, have that reality. And it's also going to help you determine the way people receive you. Because when you show up in a certain way, people have no choice but to respond to you in a certain way. And at first, it might be like, who the hell do you think he is? Who the hell she thinks she is? Right? Why are they acting different? Because you are different. And that's what we want. So we're going to be discussing that tomorrow. It's going to be very beautiful. Lots of great work. There's also going to be homework for that one as well. And I'm just really excited to see your changes. So with regards to that, get ready, do the homework, do the homework, do the homework, do the homework. You can print it out, or you can do it on your phone with like the Adobe write-on, whatever it's called. Use that and we'll take it from there. So thank you very much. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good rest of day. Bye.